Alright guys, so we're going to do the oil change on this KFX400 quad. One thing that I recommend that a lot of people don't mention is warm it up a little bit. Don't get it like scalding hot, but if it's warm, just like on a car, you know, it'll drain better. Alright, so we're going to do the oil change on this KFX400. This is 08, I believe. But if you have a different year, it's more than likely going to be the same. So there's going to be two different drain plugs. So one, you can see that round part there, that's going to be for your motor drain. And then there's another one here for your reservoir up here in the front. And that's actually where we're going to fill the oil as well. So this is what you're going to need. Obviously your oil filter, 14 millimeter, 12 millimeter, 8 millimeter, and then a ratchet. And that's all you need. So let's go ahead and drain the oil out of the motor.
Set this up here so you can see. This is the 14 for the motor side. And I just washed this so it's dripping a little bit of water, but it's not a problem. And in case you didn't see the other part, try and warm this up and it will drain better.
Oil's pretty much done, so we're gonna put our drain plug back in. There it goes. It's kind of slightly pointed forward, like up and forward, if that makes sense.
That's good to know.
Don't over tighten this because you'll be very sorry if you did. Just snug it up. It's not going to go anywhere. Alright, dry that off a little bit. Now, on to the other one here. So hopefully you can see where this one is. So this is the 12 millimeter. It's going to be right up in this little circle here. So if you just push this plastic piece forward, you will gain access to this little piece, and then you can put your bolt back in here. There we go. Or you could just take it off for weight reduction. Dry that off a little bit, push it forward, and then it'll pop back in place like that. Snug this one up. And this one is even more delicate, so make sure you don't tighten that too much. Alright, so now that we have our oil drained out of the motor and the holding tank, we're going to pop this cover off, and that will give us access to the oil filter.
That 8 millimeter 3 bolts here. You can take this bolt off and let it drain. I usually just open this and let it drain. It's just as easier actually. Definitely do for an oil change. It's pretty dark.
I usually just hold this in because it has kind of a little bit of a spring load to it. And there's the oil filter. Try not to damage that, as most oil filters do not come with one. but obviously you can get one separately if you'd like. I usually just slide this O-ring back in the housing, and then it's nice and easy when I put it back on. Okay, slide this out. If you got big chubby fingers like me, you probably need a screwdriver or something pokey. Slide it out. Soak up that oil if you want. So the oil filter is a HF139 high flow filter. These are the ones I usually get. I've never had any problems with them. So make sure you put it in. I don't think you can put it in the wrong way, but make sure the hole goes inside and the capped off end is on the outside. Just like that. And then this guy has an arrow, so you know how to put it back on. And just points up like that. Hold it in place and put your bolts back in. And again, make sure you don't over tighten those. I'm sure the torque specs on it are pretty small, but I don't know those right off. I just usually snug them up. If we go over here, there's a big Allen plug on the other side, but where we want to fill this is actually right there. This guy. And again, it says 200. Alright, so hopefully you can see this alright, but it's kind of tricky. You could take the plastics off and maybe get to it better, but I have a little long, narrow funnel, and then I've got a larger one that I'm just gonna pour it into here, and then I can kind of watch and make sure that it's not like overflowing or anything. So that's pretty much all there is to it, folks. 2.5 quarts, 2,000 milliliters. I just started it and let it run for about 30 seconds, shut it off, and then just thread your dipstick in all the way, thread it back out, and you should be right in the center. It's hard to tell on this, but it's right on the center of these cross-hatched section of the dipstick. So as long as you're halfway or over, even if you're closer to the top end, if your bike has a small leak or whatever, you can be closer to the top half of that crosshatch. But that's pretty much it. So hope you guys enjoyed, and remember to subscribe to win free stuff. Thanks.